Hi, I'm Dr. Anurag Singh. I'm a radiation oncologist at Roswell Park Cancer Institute, and I do radiation research. My practice is different because I look at the whole patient. So I look at from diagnosis to treatment to follow-up to quality of life. So I'm interested in every measurable metric about the patient. First of all, are they alive? Secondly, how much did they suffer during their time under treatment? Was the treatment that I delivered the best in every measurable aspect? How does my treatment compare to national and international best practices and standards? Are there any published reports that do better than I do? And how do the patients do long-term as a result of my therapy? So I am just as interested in the patients that I treated 5 years ago or 10 years ago as I am in the patients that I'm currently treating. And the result of that is not only do you have a personal relationship with the patient and you know the ins and outs of what they're struggling with. So if they really enjoyed chocolate and after my head and neck radiation therapy, they've gotten everything back, but now they don't enjoy chocolate as much because their taste is a little bit different. Well, while that might not come up in any standard survey, if you've known the patient and you've followed them through, you pick up on these little things. And then that gets you interested in, well, why is the chocolate taste different? What could we do to get that back for them? And that leads to new ideas about what we should do for the patients to fix these problems. And perhaps in the grand scheme of things, you wouldn't think of them as problems. But once you've gone through the treatment and you've beaten the cancer, it's an issue. And if it's an issue that you have to deal with, and if it's an issue that's important to the patients, it's important to me. And I think that that's really one of the best parts of my job, is that I get to talk to patients and I get to find out what's important to them, not what's important to me. And that's probably the biggest educational experience that I get these days, is from patients telling me, Doc, that's fine, you cured me, I'm really appreciative, but you know what? I used to be a 250-pound linebacker, and now I'm a 170-pound weakling, and that makes a big difference to me. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't come up with a solution to that, but it's something that I think about now that I wouldn't have thought about 5-10 years ago. Now, the reality is that 5 or 10 years ago, for advanced head and neck cancer, only 5 to 10% of patients lived. So early in my practice, when I was being taught, that was my expectation. If you had a base of tongue cancer, there was a good chance that you weren't going to be with us in 5 years. Now, we're actually getting these people to live. Our local control rate, so the rate at which the things we shoot at with our radiation go away and stay away, is 95%. And as a result of that success, what we see now is the long-term effects that we never got to see before because people weren't living that long. In my service, what I tell patients is they're going to see me for a long time. And I want to see them in 5 years and 10 years. During that time, we're going to have our ups and downs. So there will be times when they're not feeling so well or they're not doing so well. And I will be there for them. And I will try to give them what they need. Sometimes it's a reassuring smile. Sometimes it's a pat on the back. And sometimes it's some tough love. Our job is to have a relationship. And a relationship is more than one visit. It's not about one visit. It's about, are you going to make your 5-year follow-up? And what are the things that I can do to make that 5-year follow-up more realistic, more pleasant, better? And when the patient and the doctor both agree that that's their goal, then everything else falls into place. So whether it's, why am I filling out this quality of life survey for the 18th time? Or why do I really need to have that test? Or is this really the best treatment for me? All those questions can be answered in the context of, how do we make your 5-year follow-up visit with us as good as it can possibly be? And as long as we have that goal in mind, then everything else falls into place. The patient will be happy, the doctor will be happy. Anything that comes up in between, if it wasn't the best experience, right, can be overlooked because you have this larger goal in mind. So I would tell patients, it's just like they taught you in driver's ed. If you want to drive steady, aim higher on the horizon. Okay? So if you want to have a good relationship, a good therapeutic relationship, aim higher on the horizon. Keep in mind what your long-term goal is. And as long as both you and your physician have the same long-term goal, you'll both be happy, more likely than not.